something really fundamental has happened over the last few weeks, which the last 20 years of EdTech and professional development for teachers hasn't been able to achieve, which is that 3 million, public school teachers in the US have simultaneously had a crash course in distance education. And that is something that cannot be unlearned. Somebody said the other day, it's like the genie is out of the bottle and we can't put it back in. And I think that's absolutely right. And I do think that this is sort of like one of those seminal moments where the industry will be different than, after this than it was before in a pretty fundamental ways. I also think that a lot of parents have, learned how hard it is to be a teacher, first of all, but also all the different resources that are available and all the different ways that kids can learn. So I'm also cognizant of the fact that, public schools are bureaucracies and change takes time usually, but I do think that this is probably a moment in time where change is happening faster than maybe it ever will in our lifetime. So like, what does that mean for EdTech? I mean, I think what is going to become absolutely critical is for schools to have, what I refer to as an EdTech stack that will enable them to pivot on a dime between in-person instruction, brick and mortar inside the four walls of the school, and virtual instruction. And because this could happen again. We don't know what this virus is going to do. We don't know how it's going to behave. We could have waves of this. We could have hot spots that are popping up in different parts of the country. So there's a pretty good chance that there will be more school closures. And so my gut is that there will be regulations that require schools to have kind of disaster preparedness plans in place that demonstrate how they're going to seamlessly pivot, and what I'm sort of referring to as like flexible teaching and learning. I think like we need a new term. Happy to like entertain other terms, but blended learning is too specific. The term, all the terms we've used before are kind of the use cases are too specific. So I think we need a new term. I'm going with flexible or flex learning. And so then the question is, well, what does that mean for ed tech companies? Well, I mentioned Unruly Studios earlier that has a physical component to the product, and it's one of the things that makes it such an awesome product. But I also think that companies that have physical components are going to really have to think hard about how their products can continue to be used virtually. And so Unruly has basically used this last couple of weeks to accelerate the creation of a virtual version of their, what they call splats, these floor tiles. And so now, kids can code and play virtual games using virtual splats without having the actual physical hardware. So that's just, one example of companies that are kind of being forced to adapt, but I think that's actually a really good thing. It means their solutions are more comprehensive and flexible. So, and I think the companies that are going to really excel are going to be those that can demonstrate their effectiveness in both environments, right? In the traditional school setting, which has all of its own, idiosyncrasies and use cases and, unique kind of ways of behaving, and then also be able to be used in a completely different virtual setting.